what did we find? Let's start in the back, gentlemen. So if this sort of oral essay you have to produce, what would be your first contribution?
That they reviews entries that are submitted.
Yeah, say that again.
That they reviews documents that are sent to them by documents.
Okay. Neighbor, help. What?
Yeah, the first action will. There are certain laws of every firm.
Yeah, but before you dive into that, what would you like to share with me? Just as an exercise for the rest of your life. And so what are we talking about?
Oh, is it introduction?
Now, but we are at your neighbor. It should be sort of second nature. Second nature.
Yeah, well, the FDA has certain requirements for drugs that they are allowed to enter the USA.
Yeah, but that's already
In the middle.
in the middle. So if a new lecture runs in, what would be your first? So I die on the spot, and we are very efficient higher education. We have a reserve lecture next door, and instantly continues the class. And then what are you telling this new lecture? In regular, normal words. Neighbor? Yeah?
Oh. Do I have to address the problem right now?
No? So we are taking the listener by the hand.
Well, just describe the first verb I found indicates step one of the lesson job description is.
So that's a very literal one. So we try to figure out whether we can test the theory on a real concrete example. Is this all true, these theories? Do they actually do these things? And we try to answer that question. And so we test the theory. Well, and then step one was indeed, and finish. And so which verbs, action words, so make it very concrete. So which verb indicates step one? No, I stick to that theme for a while, yeah? Yeah, no, you.
We found, well, we didn't agree.
You see? That happens, no
I
problem.
went with the first one was reviews.
Reviews, yeah.
Yes, and the second paragraph also indicates.
Indicate, yeah. And your colleague?
I was thinking not fulfilled your registration obligations.
Yeah. So here we have three verbs, or three parts. How can we determine which one belongs to what? So now you're the lecturer. How would you assess the contribution so far? What is the measure stick? I did not hear the measure stick yet.
I have no
Neighbor?
What the measure says.
Yeah?
I want to know if these verbs describe the job description of regular.
Exactly. So, yeah?
The measure stick will be the articles that are mentioned under section 5, 10 something, and then example.
That's the measure stick of the behavior of the company. But the measure stick of what I want to know. So my question. So you're here for my question on the screen. And we use the company.
Federal Food and Drug Cosmetic Act.
Yeah, you're in the subject already. But the measure stick. So here we have two verbs. So how do I assess? And you can do the job. Of is he right or is he right on this point?
You can read this text.
Yeah. And then?
And then we should be able to know what the job is, for example.
Exactly. So what do we talk about in terms of the job description?
We want to know what the job description is of the regulator. That's divided into 3 steps. The first step should be, I think, reviewing of if a company.
So what is this sort of this phrase learn myself to say in a very fast way? Who can help? The first job description is, take your notes. The full definition? The full definition of step 1, yeah? That's important because that decides whether you are right or he is right, you know? So what's the full phrase? Yes?
FDA reviews documents applied by food, drug, and cosmetic companies.
Okay, but now the job description as presented to you in the theory so far. So the theories on regulated market. So loud and clear.
Gather information about the questions. Is that it?
So at least complete.
Goods and yeah. Okay. Questions whether goods, services, and other market behavior complies with the given rules.
Okay. Once more. This is critical. Because that is what we test. And this is what decides whether you are right or he is right. Yes?
Gather information about the question whether goods, service, and or market behavior complies with the given rules.
Cool. So there are different rules and there are goods and services and you know. So what is what? So if you look at, can you say the verb once more that you classified as?
Not fulfilled your registration obligations.
Okay. So could you explain to me how that is gathering information about the question whether goods and services market behavior does not comply with set rules? No? So, if anything, it is an indication of which step?
I have no idea.
Review?
Well, 33% chance, as apparently it's not step 1. So, which of the two others could it be? No? Talk to you? So theories are nothing more than logic, and you have equally amount of logic as I have. So if it is not gathering information, your verbs, what is it? Trust your logic.
Services?
Who helps?
Forming a legal opinion?
Forming a legal opinion. Because, say the verb again?
Not fulfilled your registration obligations.
So, not. So what is the equivalent of step 1 on the same topic, in the letter? That is close. And so yeah, let's not overdo it. And so they did not find this company in the register. And so they jumped to step 2 by connecting a sort of opinion or sort of norm. And so I'm with you. And so sometimes it goes hand in hand. Let's go back to the verbs. Let's go to the next theme. Any other words, any other verbs that contribute to the proof that there is such a thing as step 1?
So legal opinion is a norm.
Yeah, so legal opinion is that you think right or wrong.
Okay.
And so the words not and not fulfilled are sort of the Roman Emperor said, it's opinion. And then in this case, agree with you. So they checked the register, the name was not in, and they put that in one sentence. And so if they overdo it, they say, we did not find you in the register. That's step 1. Gathering information about the question whether you comply with the rules. Okay, there's a rule, get your A dot in the register. That's what this whole letter is about. Alright? Cool. Other verbs on. So we have the registration. What else? Listen.
Actually, for the first.
Yeah?
So step one of the classic job description.
Yeah?
Well, step one was gather information about services and goods from the company. So in this case,
Yeah. And about the question whether they comply. Yeah.
Yeah. And in that case, it would be has reviewed entries regarding shipments and trucks.
So which facts is then covered with that
The first
sentence?
one, like gather information about the services of the company.
Yeah, and then actually being what?
If they comply
As they comply to the market.
Yeah, but in real life, what did they find that happened? And so in real life, so not from a theoretical perspective, but a realistic perspective.
Yeah, it has been revealed that they don't fulfill the expectations of our research.
Yeah. Okay, we had the recitation, but you were at the next verb with entering. Over here.
They found out that their shipments which enter the United States, so they're gathering information.
Exactly. So in the last sentence of this paragraph, our records indicate you have manufactured drugs that were being imported on the United States market. So they check the register, your name is not in. They check the market of drugs in the United States and say, hey, I see Mr. Wang drugs. Those are two crucial proofs, because not all Mr. Wangs should be in the US register. Only the Mr. Wangs that export drugs into the market of the United States. Very important. Okay, what else? Any other verbs? So the verbs are indicate and has reviewed.
Then he is required.
Hmm?
He is required.
Is required. What is which step?
That is two.
Yeah. Let's move to step 2. Let's move to this team. Ladies, which verbs are used in this step 2? Yeah. So which verb is sort of, from a grammatical point of view, connected to the subject? So is it to submit, so the infinitive, or is it you are required?
You are required.
Yeah. And so the active verb is you are required. So you have to do a sort of legal analysis. So they describe what the rule said. Okay, what in that list, sir? What other verbs are in step 2? Yeah, is prohibited. And well, and then there's one more in the middle, which verb is also in the phase 2, in the step 2, from legal opinion.
Maybe refused.
Yeah. I was thinking of another one.
What about the failure of risk? Third paragraph. Third row.
Yeah, no, it's and so to list a drug is one of the verbs. You're required to list a drug. And that if the drug appears to be adulterate or misbranded, and that means in normal language that you put a label like good for your health on, let's say, pulverized wood. And that is then misbranded, misleading, because you... Okay, verbs of the third step. The intervention stricto sensu, the sanction. Ladies, over here.
I think it would be that renders a drug misbranded, which is what happened with his...
Yeah, is that a sanction?
Yes,
So
his drugs that he tried to send got registered, rendered as misbranded because he didn't register.
So, what is then your definition of imposing a sanction on Mr. Wang? And so, phase 3, step 3 is that you sanction Mr. Wang.
Well, it says here that if you don't to list the drug as required under section 510, or to supply certain notice or information that the drug required in section 510 renders a drug misbranded.
Yeah.
He didn't do those at section
No.
510.
So that is the Roman Emperor says,
So therefore his drugs
it's legal opinion.
Yeah, so therefore his drugs got misbranded and...
But is the fact that they are misbranded the intervention already?
No, the intervention is that
Okay.
they won't enter
Okay.
the United States.
And what is then the verb? That is the sanction. And so this was still part of the legal opinion. So what are the verbs? So when is he typing? And so this is also an essay with an introduction, a body and a conclusion. And so this is a product you can make. It should be as clear as I try you to be clear. And so at a certain stage the reader should be able to detect, okay, this is the sanction. Which verb? Okay, I move to the next rapporteur. Yes?
I say sanction is take action, notify, complete, inform, provide.
Exactly. And it starts with to remedy the above mentioned violations. And so the noun violations is sort of the end point of the legal opinion. And so better would have been, herewith we conclude that you violate the above mentioned rules. Dot. That would be a 10. So this sort of 7-ish legal product or professional product. Because they combine the phases, as we had. Violation of the act is the Roman Emperor conclusion. This is wrong. And then to remedy, okay, neighbor, so once more, which verbs?
Like to remedy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You should take action.
Yes.
To register, to ensure that you have properly listed drugs.
Okay, so action to register. Okay, yes. To
ensure that you have properly listed drugs.
exactly.
Notify.
Exactly. And so send me a letter.
Complete the required registration.
Yeah.
Inform us again. Yeah, inform us that you have fulfilled the requirements.
Yeah.
Also, like if you cannot, then inform us that you stop.
Exactly. Yeah. So here we have the translation of the theory to verbs. So we have reviewed entries, so the database, your name was not in. We took a grab of sort of legal norms, 1 milligram norms, and we looked at them, so registration and branding, and then we conclude you violate. Sort of, you can read that in the second paragraph of the second page. And then they move to the intervention. So now you, regulatory, you have to do something. And then implied, and that is the discussion we had, implied in this letter is, and if you're not doing that, then you are your products are then rejected. That is then basically in the section on the legal opinion sort of suggested. The last paragraph, in addition, a drug offered for import may be refused admission. And so that is then the next sanction. So the next intervention is that those drugs are refused admission. What would that mean in real terms?
You're not going to allow them to enter Denmark.
Exactly. So if you look at the globe, and then they're produced over here, and then refused admission means they are not on the market. What is the good thing if misbranded products are not on the market? What is then avoided?
Market failure.
Market failure. It's a sort of implied message, like these rules ultimately have a sanction, sort of punitive sanction, sort of decapacitation, because then you're not able to make any money because the medicines are not on that market. But, last but not least, before the break, where in the pyramid would you put this? And then when we talk about pyramids, we talk about responsive regulation theory of Mr. Braithwaite, with the two pyramids, the capacity building pyramid and the sanctioning pyramid. And where in the sanctioning pyramid would you position this? Yeah. And so the technical title even of this intervention, stricto sensu, maybe you turn it around. So what is the title of this document? Warning letter. And so if you have to position the warning letter, is that high in the pyramid or low? So if you are Mr. Braithwaite and you develop an ID, knowing what we said so far, are you then doing this 100 times a day and you put Mr. Wang in jail 1 time a day, or are you putting Mr. Wang in jail 100 times a day and only 1 warning letter per day? So which of the two? So which one is more frequent? This one. Yeah. And so that is, and frequency is then established in this pyramid. So if this more often, it's lower in the pyramid, and then in the top, it's once in a while you put, like the banker of Goldman Sachs that is now in jail since yesterday. And so then you actually put the most extreme intervention, decapacitation of the chief executive officer of a regulatory who broke the rules and causing the financial crisis. And so warning letters are low in the pyramid. Well, let's look at your own considerations last week. Why would you opt for this and not put Mr. Wang in jail?
Perhaps with a really large problem.
Indeed. So the type of problem, type of market failure is the proportionality aspect. Secondly, where is Mr. Wang located?
China.
How easy is it for an American regulator to put Mr. Wang in jail?
Very good.
Very difficult. So, because the Americans do not have jurisdiction and vice versa. And then the ultimate sort of stick is, well, Mr. Wang, I still love you, but if you do not comply, your stuff is not accepted in our economy. And so this is part of a bigger sort of dealing with market actors. So you can suffice with a warning letter, and then this cost sort of half an hour to make. And if Mr. Wang complies, then everybody's happy. Yeah. So what I want to show you is that it's sort of reality. These are made a couple of times a day in all these offices and in all these different markets by people like you and me. And that's a sort of deliberate choice. How do we tackle this? And this one letter and put it in your file is sort of telling a whole story.